By now you have watched the introduction and syllabus overview video, and now we begin our Muse introduction and interface video. I'm loosely going to base this lesson on the Classroom in a Book by Adobe. This is what it looks like to give you an idea. And I'm going to begin in Chapter 1, Introduction to Adobe Muse. You do not need the graphic files that come with this book. If you want to use them, that's fine, but I'm going to use my own web files and kind of follow along in this introduction. I'd like to begin by talking a little bit about organization. On my desktop, I have made a WIP or Work in Progress folder, and inside that folder will be all of your work for your web pages. You want to create a folder for each project you're working on. For example, I'm going to highlight this portfolio folder, and then within this folder I have folders for my website. I'm going to click on this scholarship folder. This is a website that I have, and you can see inside this folder I have an images folder. That's where all of my images are, the JPEGs and PNGs. I also have a JavaScript folder, fonts, and CSS folder with a Bootstrap CSS file. And you don't need to worry about that right now, but you will always want to create an images folder, and then all of your HTML pages will be inside this overall folder scholarship. And this may make a little more sense. I go to my FTP that I'm using here is Fetch. If you're using the ASU web host, then you'll want to access the web publishing Word document on our course page with directions on how to upload your files to that server. If you're not using the ASU as a web host, then you may want to use an FTP. And I'm going to open up my scholarship website here that is set up on this website, kbishopdesign.com, that I set up through iPage and that I am paying a subscription for. Once I have that set up, then I can create a password and then look at my directory here. So I have that portfolio folder that I showed you, and within that portfolio folder is the scholarship folder. If I go back to that, you can take a look at the organization. So here's the scholarship folder within the portfolio folder with all my files for that website. And if you want to see what that website looks like, and you can see in the directory of my website name, it's kbishopdesign.com. Then there's a portfolio folder, a scholarship folder within that, and then my HTML page is named scholarshipindex.html. So this is my website that is through my iPage web host, and I'm using an FTP here called Fetch. And what I do is once I connect to my FTP, I will upload my final scholarship website files onto this FTP, which stands for File Transfer Protocol. And whatever I upload here is going to be uploaded. Since I've connected it, it's going to put it onto my web host on iPage. So if you're using the AppState web host, you can do this directly in Dreamweaver, and you can do it in Muse too, and it will upload those files directly through the program. But you can also use a file transfer protocol as well, especially if you're not using the AppState web host. Again, this may not make a whole lot of sense to you right now, but I wanted to go ahead and show that to you so that you can begin by staying organized. Now, when you upload to the server, whichever way you choose to do that, you don't want to load everything in your WIP folder, only the files that are going to be used on your website. For example, I usually have a working folder, So that would be whatever you name it, working or WIP. And there may be some images that are not resized for the web. Obviously, I would not want to upload those to the server, just the ones that are resized. So the first thing I would do is to go ahead and create that WIP folder and then create your root directory by creating an images folder. And you may not have a whole lot right now. Let me show you my Muse site, since we're going to open up Muse. And I have a Muse website and I have a working folder. So within my working folder are all the files that I want to have, the original files I want to have access to. And then my Muse website folder only includes the files that are actually on my website. And I have 3 folders because I have 3 pages: an About Me, Home Page, Multimedia, and Main. And then this STE file is my actual website file, and I'll show you how to do that. When you save your Muse file or Dreamweaver file, you'll have an STE file. Then within each folder, I have my images and any other files that I need for that page. So let me show you that website. So I go to, this is on my app state host, and you can see here I have those 3 web pages. I have my home page, which is my index HTML page, an About Me page, and a Multimedia and Mind page with additional links. So we're going to go over how to set up a site like this in Muse, and go back here to my folder directory, and you can see my Muse website. So here are those 3 pages: home page, About Me, and Multimedia Mind. So there's a folder for each one. So it's very important to stay organized. Another word is, make sure you do not use capital letters or symbols. I'm using all lowercase, and when I need a space, I'm using an underscore. So it's important to save using the naming convention. Launch Muse, you'll want to go to File, New Site. And then you'll see in your dialog box here you can select Fluid Width, which is the default, and this will create a responsive page. For your maximum page width, we're going to go ahead and input 1200 pixels. So at this point you really want to start thinking about everything in pixels. And 1200 max width means that your web page will not be wider than 1200 pixels. So if the browser window is wider than 1200, it will center that page in the browser window. The default is 1 column, and we're just going to keep that at 1 column for now. Click on the arrow next to Advanced Settings if you want to change the min width, min height, or establish any margin. And because we only have 1 column, we don't have an option for gutter here, so we're just going to select 20 for the top margin and click on OK. I'm going to go ahead and open up my website that I've already created. I'm in plan mode. So there are 3 modes here. I'm going to click on OK. Plan, Design, and Preview. Right now we're in the plan mode, and I'm going to enlarge this. You can increase or decrease the size in plan modes, so if you have a lot of pages, you can see them all at the same time. So I have quite a few pages right now, so I'm going to decrease the size so you can see them all. So when I'm talking about a site plan, this is my basic site plan, and that you will create a plan like this later on in your homework file. My website here, this is my home page, and then as I mentioned earlier, I have 3 web pages. This is the About Me page, my Multimedia and Mind page, and these are the parent pages. Then underneath, this is the secondary level, these are the child pages. So these are additional web pages that are nested within this Multimedia and Mind page. I have several sibling pages, and then I have grandchildren pages from these pages. So for example, my sound effects page have two child pages here that when you go to this page you can click on two additional pages. So I have three main pages in my website, but I actually have a lot more pages linked within those pages. Then I have my master page area. And this is just like in InDesign. If you're familiar with that program, you can create a master page style that you can quickly apply to any of the pages that you create. I'm going to go back to File and Site Properties. And here I can make changes. So let's say you've already created a site, but you want to make some changes to your properties. I want to, say, change it to 2 columns instead of 1. And now you can see I have a gutter option because I have more than 1 column. So that's the space between your columns. I'm going to set that to 80. If I want to click on content, I can also change the color and style of my hyperlinks. I think the default here is blue, and I've already changed it so that the normal hyperlink color is red, and then when I hover over that text or image, it's going to turn gray. Once someone has already visited or clicked on that area, it's going to remain gray, and then when it's active, it's going to be red. So you can select the color, and also if you want it italic or underline, you can select those styles if you want. Click on OK, and let me just double click on a page to open it. Now you can see that there are 2 columns. You can see the blue guidelines. There's 2 columns set up, and I can align my text to those columns. Here's my gutter right here. And then you can see this is a hyperlink here where it says Creative Kids Art and Design Workshop. And if I click on that, it will turn gray when I go to preview mode. I want to go back to my site plan right now. You want to name each page. So if I double click here, I have my home page named as K's Multimedia Home. When you work on your site plan, you want to go ahead and do that and name each page. Click on the right of a page to add a page. So if I want to insert a page, here another sibling page next to About Me, I can just click on the plus sign and then another page is formed. And this, the B master page is attributed to this page. But I can change that if I want the A master page. I just drag it and apply it to this page, and then I want to name it here. Then if I want to get rid of it, I don't like that page, I can just click on the X to delete it. So again, this is the top level, and then this is the lower level of my site plan. I can also add pages to my sibling pages. If I want another page here, I can just add it. I can apply a master page by dragging it. And then I can delete it if I don't like it. I can also rearrange it and move pages around. So I wanted to move this over in between here, I can do that. And then I can go to Command Z to undo that. Undo, delete page, or redo, rearrange page under Edit. You can also change to a vertical layout. I'm going to go back to horizontal layout. If you Control right click, and you can go to Page Properties, and then you can make changes on that particular page only. So if you only want to change, let's say, the column and gutters on the About Me page, you can do it that way by just going to Control right click. You can also add pages that way and rename a page as well. You can also apply a master page that way. I'm going to go back to Page Properties and select Metadata. Now this is important for search engine optimization, or SEO. And if you add specific descriptions and keywords, then it will help the search engines to find your particular page using the keywords that you input here. It has to be within 160 characters. They should be unique. and specific facts about your content on your web page, and it should be easy to read. So I may put in a description here of educational media website for Appalachian State University. And then write some keywords here: education, multimedia. So this is really helpful for your search engine optimization so that viewers can find your page faster when they are using a search engine. Once I double click on that, it brings me to Design View. And in Design View, here's when I actually can lay out and design my page. I have a header area here that I created on the master page. So once it's on the master page, I can't move it and change it. I'd have to change it on the master page directly. I have my 3 headings. And when you hover over there, you can see the blue text frame guide that's telling you it's a text frame. And just like you would work in another Adobe program, such as InDesign, I can go to my tools and my text tool and input text. I can go to my selection tool and select various elements. Again, the rest of my background here is on my master page, so I can't make any changes here. I have swatches and other abilities here on my dock panels. I can also crop images or areas. I'm going to go back to my site plan now. So now I'm in plan mode, and I can make changes to my master page. So if I wanted to crop this image, I can use the crop tool to do that. I have my rectangle tool and my graphic rectangle frame tool that I can form and place an image into by going to File, Place, as I would in InDesign. Then I can resize this image. I have my hand tool if I want to move around on my page, and my zoom tool. And again, I can use the shortcuts and just click on Z option, hold down the option key to zoom out, and then zoom back in when I let go of option. And then once I pretty much have my design done, I can click on Preview to see how the page will look in the browser without all the guidelines. And so this is how it will look in my browser window. And I can close all the files. Once you click on Preview, it's going to open it up in another window, in another tab, so then I can close that once I'm done with it. And back to my site plan. And I can do that with any of these pages. If I double click on it, it brings me to Design View, and then I can work within here and lay out each page, and then preview it. And once everything is done, then I can publish it using my FTP host. And we'll talk later about how to publish the file. I'm going to cancel for now. So now we're going to save our site. Once you save it, and you will have an index page. The index.html page is going to be the page that is brought up when you go to your site. So if I go to my home page, here's my index.html page, and then you can see in Muse, it's this page right here. And there we are almost done. So just a quick wrap up. In Module 1, you have now watched introduction video and this Muse user interface video. You should have purchased and registered your book, the Adobe Dreamweaver Against the Clock book. And then if you have chosen to purchase or copy or rent the Adobe Muse Classroom in a Book, go ahead and read that and follow along in Chapter 1. Our objectives for this module is to organize content. Even if you're not using an FTP, you may want to go ahead and set up some pages of Muse, just play around with it, and throw them into some folders and start organizing that. Set up your web host. If you're using the App State, you can go directly to their web services site and take a look at that. We'll go over that more in Module 4, but if you want to get a head start, you can go ahead and set up your website through the web services. And then you want to get to know the course outline on As You Learn, and get to know your classmates. And that's what you need to turn in this week is your discussion and your survey. So go ahead and complete that survey for 1 point, and then participate in the introduction discussion, and be sure to respond to someone else's post so that we can get used to participating in that kind of forum. And I will see you in the next module.